Today's video is going to be on the Jedi name. More specifically, I think we're talking about why Jedi. Now this is a question that's usually asked in the beginning of really any training program. Sometimes it's a little later on, but it's still a core question that you really have to understand for yourself. That's important. It's for you, but you need to know. You need to understand why you've chosen this label for yourself. Before we get into that, I do want to take note that this label isn't about banner waving. It isn't about publicly announcing yourself as a Jedi. That's all sort of nonsense. I have seen certain people go around trying to shame others or degrade them or insult them by saying that they're a closet Jedi. And this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Jedi path is about how you live. It's about how you wake up. It's the practices you live by. It's the tenets you hold yourself to. It's the way you approach problems and solve them and things of that nature. We look at the Jedi method. We look at the Jedi circle. We live by the Jedi code. These are the things that are a part of our life. None of that, nowhere in there does it require you to go announcing that you're a Jedi. Nowhere in there does it say you have to create a banner on your Facebook page saying, I'm a Jedi. Like, that's all silly nonsense. So if someone ever gives that to you, or someone ever tells you or accuses you of being a closet Jedi, you can just go ahead and write that person's opinion right off your list, because they obviously don't know what the Jedi path is about. And they're just kind of working from who knows what. But that is definitely not what being a Jedi is. Live your life. People will recognize it, believe it or not. Chances are you're already a Star Wars fan and people know this, right? I've had it, other Jedi have had it, we've all had it, where we're just living our lives, we're just being Jedi, and people start calling us Jedi. They're like, thanks for your advice, Master Jedi. That's why I come to you with these questions. You're such a Jedi. Things like that. And they're just off the cuff. They know you're a Star Wars fan, but they're drawing a correlation between your actions and the ideals of the Jedi. All you have to do is live your life as a Jedi. It will be recognized. You don't have to wave a banner, and don't let anybody tell you different. Second, the question of why Jedi. We do have a path, we do have a foundation. We have the Jedi method, Jedi circle, Jedi code, all these other different Jedi texts that help us build that foundation and understanding of what a Jedi is and how they live. And we understand that it is its own path. And while labels are labels, and people love to quote Shakespeare, rose by any other name, but the Jedi path has its own box. It is its own box, and it has its own framework, its own limits, the things it allows, things it doesn't allow. We always say Jedi is a box. It's a very big box, but it's still a box. You have to work within the confines of the path if you want to be a Jedi. So the question you really have to ask yourself is, why this name? Why this title? Why is this path for you? Now, for those of you that are new, let me clue you in. Let me give you a little hint when you're asked this question in your journal. Don't try to come up with some fortune cookie answer, okay? Don't try to sound wise or beyond your years or anything of that nature. Just be honest. Why Jedi? Now, if that's simply because it's a childhood dream and you love Star Wars and you were inspired by the Jedi and that's who you want to be, you want to be Qui-Gon Jinn, say that. That's okay. That's a fair answer. That's an allowed answer. It doesn't have to be some great scheme, and you don't have to paint yourself in as a completely selfless person. Now, some people, that is their answer. They say, well, world betterment is really this concept that I have, but I have no idea how to go about it. When I was looking at different paths on how to help others and get involved, I came across the Jedi. I really liked that. I joined a costuming group that was, visiting children's hospitals and things of that nature, and I really felt like this was a great charity, but it was lacking in other parts. And I found the Jedi path that added the practices, the tenets, the goals, and things of that nature, and that structure really spoke to me, and that's why I call myself a Jedi. That's why I follow the Jedi path, the Jedi name. You have to discover your own answer, though. You have to really think about it, because Jedi, it is its own path. It's not Buddhism wrapped up in Jedi robes, right? It does have its own framework. It does have its own limits. We have built enough over the last 20 years or so to really understand that Jedi is its own path. It doesn't need to grab onto other things. Now, some places haven't caught up to that yet. They still reword the Tao Te Ching, replacing Master with Jedi and Tao with the Force. That's their choice, but we don't need to do that, and that isn't Jedi teachings. Same, you find other places and they just reworded, Catholic prayers and things like that, and You know, again, we don't need to do that. We have our own setup. We have our own path. Spiritual well-being is always a personal pursuit. And while we encourage and we offer resources to help explore spiritual wellness, we are not here to provide you with a set answer. So you really have to ask yourself, why Jedi? What is this for me? Why is this path work for me? And that gets covered in the training, as we said. And you really want to dig into a place that allows you to explore that. Like, why is this for me? Not having you don't have to sign anything away. You don't have to dedicate yourself right away. If you're curious about, is this for me? Is this a good investment for me to live my life? Then dig in, you know, dig in and check it out. You aren't committed to anything, right? If a month in, you're like, this isn't really for me. I've looked around, I've gotten involved, but you know, I like it, but it's not for me. That's fine. And you can still hang around. You don't have to leave the community, right? If you like the community, you can stick around and hang out with people and talk with them and debate with them and exchange ideas and see how something compares to something else. You don't have to call yourself a Jedi, and you don't have to be involved with the Jedi path to be involved with the Jedi community. So really consider your involvement, why you're involved, what is it you're interested in. If you're just interested in community building, hey, you don't have to be a Jedi to do that. You can focus on community building and being a part of that online culture, and you don't need to be a Jedi, right? But maybe Jedi is what you're really interested in, but you really don't care about that community stuff. Well, you can focus just on the path. You can find a place where you can just get into the studies and not worry about any of that other community stuff, and then you can just live as a Jedi. Again, you don't need to wave the banner. Just go about your daily life as a Jedi. That's what we teach, that's what we want. If we all do that, Jedi are worldwide. We have a Jedi in a lot of major cities that way, and a lot and just all over the world, all doing the Jedi thing, all making the world a little bit better, piece by piece. But really consider why you've chosen the Jedi name, and come to your own understanding. That answer is not for me, it's not for anyone else, it's just for you. It's just for you to know why you're here, what you're doing, and why this name is important to you. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. You know where the buttons are. You can like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever makes you happy. May the Force be with you. You almost got me. You almost got me, man. I made the rookie mistake. Don't apply one Jedi site rules to another Jedi site. Your culture's messed up.